Today's the day, people. Just had to go to fill my car up and needed a mask. But yeah, gyms are open. Crazy. 25th of July will be a memorable day. So I'm actually on my way, or just about to go on my way, to UltraFlex Rotherham. So today's video I'll be going through a leg day. I'll run through it in detail as to why we're doing what we're doing. Hopefully it won't be too busy and we'll be able to do what we want. But before we get into the video, if you can please like the video, subscribe if you haven't already, and sit back and enjoy. So guys, welcome to the voiceover part of this video. So first session back, legs at UltraFlex Rotherham. So we jumped straight into it. Very good session. To be fair, the gym wasn't as busy as I expected. It got a little bit busier later on. We trained at about 12:30 and it started getting busy about 2:30, 3ish. So we kind of managed to get through the majority of the session before it got busy. So we started off with the adductor. The reason we're starting on this is because you can never have too much adductor, and I want to hit them when they're fresh, so starting off a session with them is a pretty good idea. And you're not going to be at the end of a session after you've done, like, let's say, a hack and a leg press and other movements where they've had to come into it and then they're massively fatigued trying to target them well at the end. So I would generally recommend doing like a high rep set first and then going into a lower rep set. We didn't do that, but that's just because we were excited to get in the gym and weren't thinking. So a high rep set first, just to get a lot of blood in there, get them warm, because it's very easy to sort of tweak your adductor or your groin when you're doing it, pop some fibers. Okay, then we went on to the prone leg curl. So this is a prime piece of kit, so it's plate loaded, and we loaded it all in the beginning range, and it felt okay. It didn't feel amazing, didn't feel as good as I expected it to feel, but it felt okay. So we loaded it all in the beginning range, so it's really heavy at the start of the movement. Okay, and then obviously it drops off as you get the hamstring shorter, which in theory should be really good because it should match the strength profile of the hamstrings, but it just didn't feel great. But we did just 2 sets there, a heavier set of like 6 to 9 and then a back off set of 10 to 15 kind of rep range. And I think just with it being the first session back, we were getting used to kit again, and we've been on the awful leg curl at Reece's gym and adapted to that, so going back into a normal gym and doing a normal piece of kit felt weird. Then we did the prime leg extension. As you can see, that's showing where you can load the weight more. So again, we loaded this primarily in the beginning range just to match the strength profile of the quads. So it's heavier when the quads are in a lengthened position at the bottom, and then it drops off a little bit as you drive up towards the top. So we again did similar rep range on that, a set of 6 to 9 kind of reps. I generally like to go a little bit higher on leg extension, so almost like higher end of that 8 to 10. And then a back off again, 12 to 15 we were looking for. So we've done the isolations there. Again, reason that I do isolations first is to warm up the joints, warm up the knees a lot for the heavy compounds, get the legs warm, get the body warm, get the mindset in place to go and attack the big compounds, get a lot of blood going to the legs, and also just to, again, if you can prioritise those isolations and do them when you're fresh, you're going to get a lot more out of them than if you put them at the end of a session after you've done a heavy hack squat. Imagine if I'd just gone into UltraFlex and jumped straight on the Atlantis hack, I wouldn't be in the right mindset to attack it. My knees and hips wouldn't be warm. I would likely it would feel horrendous. Whereas going into it 4th exercise in feels pretty good. Although I did lose a fair bit of strength on it compared to last time, but I am also over 30 pounds lighter. Not that that's an excuse, a little bit frustrating, but oh well. So I got 5 plates for 17, but 6 plates felt so heavy. In hindsight, I probably could have got 6 plates for a good like 8 to 10, but it didn't even feel like I could get 1 when I did it in the warm-up. So I got 1 and it was awful. So we did a heavy set there, which ideally would have got like 8 to 12, but I've obviously got 17. But then I still wanted to do the constant tension back off set, which I've been implementing a lot during lockdown, because it feels mint and it's so much less centrally fatiguing. So you can take your quads to failure and past failure with a forced rep or a couple of forced reps without being on the machine for 4 minutes. And it's not with that heavy of a load, so it's almost just getting the most out of the least, which is great. That's what we kind of want to do when we're training. So that felt really good. So I did a constant tension back off set there, and I think I got 20 plus 1. and that was really good. And yeah, you feel a little bit battered. You know, essentially you are battered immediately after, but not 5-10 minutes after. Where after like a normal top set, you can feel fucked for 10 minutes because of just how long you're on the piece of kit and how much sort of air you need to get in the oxygen depth that you're in. Okay, yeah, so then we went on to the hammer strength leg press, and we just did one set here. So we're trying to make sure that volume wasn't too high first session back, because we'd just batter ourselves. So obviously I've been using a leg press and I've been using a hack squat, so I can still take them pretty far and take them to failure because I've been using pieces of kit very similar, but obviously not to the same load, so we just needed to be careful with volume. So just one set here, I think I got 14 reps. Looking back, range wasn't where I wanted it to be. In hindsight, probably went a little bit heavy on that, but it felt good still felt good on the quads. But looking back at the video, you know, this is why it's good to video your sets and watch your form. I would want better depth next time, so I may need to reset that if I, you know, next time I go back into the gym, into UltraFlex. But yeah, that was good. It still felt good. Then we jumped onto the hip thrust. So I would know that they're getting the Nautilus hip thrust, but I don't think they've got it yet. So this is the hip, I think it's hammer strength, I'm not sure, but this is a hip thrust that they've always had. And I've never really got on with it that well, but it felt good yesterday. It actually felt pretty good. Just making sure I got my feet in the right place, keeping my head down. So make sure on a hip thrust that you're ideally at the top. With this, it's a little bit tougher, but if you're doing a normal hip thrust, at the top of the rep, your shins want to be fully vertical. Okay, so make sure when you're at the top of your rep, your shins are vertical. Keep your chin down. Think about driving your hips to the ceiling, but almost curling them up towards your ribs. Because if you just think about lifting your body up, you'll end up hyperextending your back. And the goal isn't to do that. The goal is to extend at the hip and contract the glutes. So that's just a couple of tips on the hip thrust. We also did abs. We did just one set, and calves just one set, mainly because I was rushing for time to go and watch Kyle play in the playoffs. But yeah, really good first session back. Legs are sore today, but not battered to the point where if I'd have been stupid with volume. Hamstrings are a little bit tight, but hopefully they'll be recovered okay for Monday, because I've got RDLs on Monday. So in terms of where I'm at with prep, I'll give you a little update. So the BMBF pushed their show back. They've not given an exact date yet, but I think it will either be the week after or 2 weeks after the UK DFBA now. So my first show is in 12 weeks, so 12 weeks out from the UK DFBA, which is the juniors. That's the one I'm doing the juniors in. And then the show, the BMBF, is either going to be 13 or 14 weeks, hopefully. Hopefully it won't get pushed any further back than that. And that's where I'm doing novice, because I'm too old to do the juniors. So this is how I'm looking. I'll put some photos on, 12 weeks out. In a good spot, you know, still not struggling with the diet, still breezing through prep. Had a couple of nights through this week where I felt a little bit ratty, a little bit tired in the evenings, but nothing major, not been like starving and struggling to train or dragging my feet or anything like that yet. Nowhere near that position yet. So generally all is going really well. Training wise, obviously buzzing to get back in the gym. I'm actually going to Progress Works from Monday. So it's a gym that I trained with once last year with Isaac. But I've not trained there since, and it's had a bit of a refurb. They've got a couple of new bits of kit since I was last there, changed the colours and that, and it looks a really good gym, to be fair. And it was really good when I went last time. It's about 20 minutes, 15-20 minutes for me, so it's worth it. It's not too much of a journey at all, especially after I've been used to driving like 40 minutes to Reese's every day. So I'm looking forward to that. Program is based all around that gym, so you know, before I was hopping between Warehouse, Dynamite, Premier. Now I'm just training there, which will be nice, just more routine and more structure. Keeping the same split, so pull, push, legs Monday to Wednesday, Thursdays are off, upper on a Friday, lower on a Saturday, Sundays are off. So keeping that the same, because I'm again enjoying that structure of knowing my days off, planning my work around that, and also planning my time with Shannon around that, where we can have a Sunday together. Once I've done my YouTube editing in the morning, which is now Sunday morning. But yeah, prep is going really, really well. Happy with where we're at, and hopefully should be bang on by the 12 weeks from now. I reckon still a good about 15-ish pounds off. So at the minute I'm pretty much hovering around 180. I've seen a couple of days under 180, but I'm pretty much at 180. So I think mid 160s to high 160s will be my stage weight, to be honest. Because yeah, I'm relatively lean now. I don't feel it really, but I'm relatively lean. but I'm nowhere near, you know, stage lean at all. So a good 15-ish pounds, and I reckon I'll be there. So yeah, I'll leave the video there, guys. I'll wrap it up. So I hope you all enjoyed it. Sorry it was all just sort of based on one session. But I quite like doing these kind of videos where just talking through a session and sort of why we're doing things. You know, I think sometimes a lot of the time we forget that there's still people that don't know a lot of these things. And you know, the target audience isn't always people who think like me and like a lot of the people who potentially will watch these videos, but there's also people who aren't really that into training, and they're still sort of trying to understand why you do this movement or how you do this movement. So I think it will help some people. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please give the video a like. If you're not subscribed already, then please subscribe, and I'll see you all in the next one.